Hi, guys. Sorry, I forgot to unmute my mic for a minute. Welcome to Monday Madness. It's Monday night at 7 p.m. and today's the 6th of February, in case you were curious. I'm not sure why I decided to tell you that, but here we are. So welcome. Let me know if you can hear me. Say hi in the chat so that I know that you're here. And yeah, I'm super excited. I always feel like when I finally do get to go live every other Monday, like I've really missed you guys. I'm just excited to be here and to talk to you guys. So, like I said, hit me up in the comments. Let me know if you can hear me okay. Let me know that you're here. Say hi. And I've got a couple things to talk about tonight. I'm not sure how long this whole video is going to go. Hi, Tony. Sound is good. Good. Thanks. Appreciate it. Appreciate the heads up. I'm not sure how long this video is going to go, but we'll just kind of roll with it. Yeah. Good morning. Good morning. Yeah. I guess I should have, when I said what time it was, I guess I should have clarified that that's Eastern time for the United States. So thanks for chiming in from Australia, Tony. I appreciate it. Yeah. It's good to see you. Good to see you. So gosh, it is February already, and it is difficult to believe. I mean, not really, but kind of a little bit. Sometimes January like goes really slow, and then sometimes I feel like it's like over in an instant. And now I'm hip deep in February and wondering what the heck happened. Right? My mom actually sent me a meme that was like a circle, and it had had all the like pie pieces cut into it, and like January was like a quarter of the pie, and February was a quarter of the pie, and then all the other months were like squished in. And it was like, this is what the year feels like. So sometimes that's true. But I was just saying on my newsletter last week. So if you actually, maybe it was this week. So if you're on my mailing list, that should hit your inbox tomorrow. I was just saying that, like, I kind of have a bad attitude about February, and have for years. It's for a long time, it's been kind of my least favorite month, just because it's, it's dark and it's cold. And, in college around this time of year, we called it the dark ages because I never saw the sun, and it always feels like if I could just get through this month, it'll be March, and then it'll be my birthday, and then it'll be fun again, and it'll start getting warmer and stuff. But yeah, I don't know. I've always kind of had a bad attitude about it. So this year I'm making a concerted effort to kind of flip the script and change my mindset about February, and really look for all of the things that there are to celebrate. Hi, Charlie. Happy Monday. Glad you could make it. So let me know in the comments or in the chat if you're here live, or if you're catching on the replay. Actually, real quick, if you're catching this on the replay, leave a comment and let me know that you're catching it on the replay, because I'm curious. I want to gather some data. So you can comment and let me know what kind of things you like to celebrate in February. It is Black History Month, which I always kind of liked in school, because like, we got to hear some cool stories about historical figures that I didn't really know much about. And so, it kind of gave me someone new to look up, or something interesting to learn about. So I always kind of liked that aspect of February. Valentine's Day, I always loved the Valentine's Day parties as a little kid. So this is the kind of little kid I was. Starting in, I think I did it second grade and third grade, I got the bright idea to, how you do, well, I don't know if everyone does this, but we always had like Valentine's Day parties. And the rule was, if you were going to bring Valentines, you had to bring one for everyone in the class, right? Everybody had to get a Valentine. And we would like bring in shoe boxes and decorate the shoe boxes to be our like mailboxes. And then, you'd have your bag of your little Valentines that you sat with your mom and signed, for a couple of nights. And sometimes, they'd have little candies in them if you were really good, like if you knew what you were doing. And then we would go and we would like put the Valentines in everyone's little mailbox, and then we'd all have a big party where we'd open up the Valentines and eat the candy and read our little Valentines. Well, I got the super bright idea one year, like I said, I think it was second grade, that I was going to do 2 sets of Valentines. I was going to do one signed by me and one signed by the Watcher. It was super creepy. I don't know why I thought this was a good idea, but I thought it would be super fun to have like this mysterious, secret Valentine. And I I signed all of the names, but like for the ones for the Watcher, I we were learning cursive or whatever. And so I was very careful to like make it all in like capital block letters, like a like a ransom note, I guess. So that they couldn't tell whose handwriting it was. Hey, Mona Lisa, welcome. And so I did a second set of Valentines signed by the Watcher, and I made sure to give one to myself as well, so that like it was like this big mystery. And I did that like second and third grade. And it was really fun like the first year, and then like the second year, or maybe I did it the third year. I don't know. But I know that the last year I did it, people were like, this is dumb. And I was like, oh, okay, I guess I won't do this anymore because it's dumb. So, yeah, from the creepy little kid files, I guess. Yeah, right, Charlie. Cut out newspaper letters, sure. Yeah, maybe I should do that next year. So anyway, if you get a Valentine from the Watcher, I promise it's not me. So let me know in the comments, if you've got, what are you celebrating in February, or what is something that is going on in February that is bringing you joy or making you happy? One of the things that sort of unexpectedly brought me joy, as well as like all the other feels today, was this movie that I watched. And it's kind of funny. Like earlier today, I wasn't even planning on sitting down to watch a movie, but I was just eating dinner early, and I turned it on because it was on Amazon Prime. It's a movie called Dog, and it's got Channing Tatum in it. It came out, I think, relatively recently. It's got Channing Tatum in it. He's also a co-director. And it was, for free on Amazon Prime. And it billed itself as like a road trip comedy. And there are definitely comedic moments in it, but I wouldn't bill it as a comedy. It's definitely a lot more than that. So the basic premise of the story is that Channing Tatum is a former Army Ranger who suffered a traumatic brain injury along with some other injuries. They're pretty unspecific as to exactly what happened to him. But he has been working very hard to try and get back into the Army and return to the Ranger Battalion and basically go back to war. That's like his goal and his drive. And he's got some hurdles to pass in order to do it. Specifically, he has to get the recommendation from a commanding officer, even though he's got documentation that say medically he's fine. He needs to get this recommendation. And the commanding officer is like, I'm not going to do that. It's not good. Right. No, not this one. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but no, he's not this one. And although he is shirtless in one scene, I will throw that out there, so if that's your thing, if shirtless Channing Tatum is your jam, there's another reason to watch this movie. But anyway, so the kind of the point of no return in the story is they find out that one of his buddies has died. And this particular buddy was a dog handler, and was partnered with a military working dog named Lulu. And so the CO basically makes a deal with him and is like, listen, I need to get this dog to the family's home down in, I think, Arizona. And they're like in Washington State. He's like, I need to get, the dog has to be at the funeral this weekend, because she's the guest of honor. Now, the problem is that the dog, Lulu, is also a combat veteran and was wounded in action. And really, really, really great movie. And she also has scars and what they call it, like triggers for her that make her behavior not, she's not necessarily safe around other people because, of the way that she's been trained and the trauma that she's experienced, as a combat veteran and military working dog. And so that's the setup, right? Is that, these two very scarred individuals have to make this journey together. And the question kind of at the heart of it is really, how do you move forward? How do you make a life when the war is done with you? And that is a very profound question that I've had. I've had some conversations with some good friends of mine about that, right? Because that's a real thing. And one of the things that I really appreciated with this movie was that it didn't flinch from that question. It didn't flinch from it, and it didn't caricaturize the subject matter. It treated this very real problem for, admittedly a small subset of our population, but still a subset of the population. It treated this material with respect. And even little things, right? Like, and this is something that's actually kind of, aside from the whole, scarred warrior combat veteran, like, aside from all of those things, that, I personally am very fortunate. I don't have a TBI, right? Like I came out of my military career actually in fairly good shape. But there's this one particular scene very near the beginning where Channing Tatum he's partying it up with, his Ranger buddies, kind of at like a wake type situation for their lost brother. And you see, there's this one scene where he's talking to one of the guys, and you can see a couple of the guys in the background who are looking at him with this look on their face, like, oh God, here he goes again. And it's that feeling of, you recognize that he's gone from who's who to who's that. And that's something that my husband talked about in the context of like retiring from the Air Force, right? So, you when you're in a military unit and, you're part of the camaraderie, you're in it day in and day out, and you're working, doing whatever it is that you're doing. There's a word for it. It's camaraderie, right? Like there's a sense of belonging, and it doesn't take long when you step away for you to no longer be a part of that. And that's something that hits a lot of people really hard. And so even just that little scene at the beginning, kind of like, oh, it kind of like, I was like, oh, okay. They know what they're talking about here. Cause that's, that's real. Like it does fit. And it's harder for, everybody goes through it, right? We all leave the military at some point. Either on some terms or another, we all leave the military. And this isn't exclusive to the military, right? This is true for other organizations as well. But, when you have that loss of that piece of your identity, how big of a loss really is it, right? What does that do to you? How do you move on from that? How do you cope from that? How do you rebuild your identity? Or how do you focus on a new facet of your identity? And those are all really deep questions that, no one can answer except the individual involved. But the movie did a really good job, I thought, of, like I said, treating the subject matter with respect and genuinely asking the questions, I also thought it was a really interesting, tactic, or not tactic, but point that it made, that, human veterans are not the only ones who come away from wars with scars, right? In my career, I was privileged to know a couple of military working dogs, not really well, but I did get to work with a couple of military working dogs and their handlers a couple times. And the psychology of these incredibly well-trained animals and the bond that they have with their handlers is something that is fascinating to me. I wrote a story about it, actually. It's if you ever read my story in the braided novel Battle Luna, it focuses on what is essentially a military working dog, and and his handler, and kind of like, what does that mean? How do they do that? How do they establish that bond, and how do they work together and stuff? So I would be remiss if I didn't include the following information, especially because I know Mona Lisa is here. So anytime we mention that there's a movie about an animal, she's like, does anything happen to the animal? So you should just be aware that the dog in the movie, Lulu, is a combat wounded veteran. And there is one still picture at the very beginning of the movie that shows her lying on the operating table while the medical team is working on her. Other than that, in the course of the movie, she doesn't suffer any injury nothing bad happens to her, except she suffers like a minor injury to her paw. She gets like a cut on her paw, and it's very quickly patched up, and she's, fine. So if that's a thing for you, just be aware that there's, at the very beginning of the movie, there is that still shot of her in the hospital. So there you go. So yeah, that's the movie's called Dog. Again, Channing Tatum is one of the directors. I'm not sure who the other director is. I should have looked it up. I apologize. But he's also the star. And yeah, great movie. And I'm so glad you agree, Bob, because yeah, you've got good taste. So I appreciate the validation. Here for you, babe. I'm here for you. So yeah. Let me know in the comments if you've got other movie recommendations or book recommendations about, books or movies that have really like struck you as something that's, intelligent and thought-provoking, and also enjoyable, right? Because it's supposed to be entertainment. It should be. So I'm always looking for, I guess, intelligent entertainment, things that are, like I said, thought-provoking and good to watch. Not that there's anything wrong with brain candy, right? Like, we all need a little bit of that sometimes. The night before last, instead of watching something thought-provoking, I watched the second Downton Abbey movie. So, because I just needed a little bit of brain comfort food. So nothing wrong with that. But let me know. I'm always interested in what kinds of things people enjoy. So let's talk about the things I meant to talk about in today's live stream. January. Oh, The Woman in Gold. Okay, I will check that out. Is it movie or book, Mona Lisa? Let me know. But yeah, The Woman in Gold. That sounds interesting. It's a very provocative title. So it's it kind of makes me think of that. There's a very famous painting that was one of the pieces that was done prior to World War II that was like, I think it was stolen by the Nazis, and it was considered like degenerate art by Adolf Hitler, with Helen Mirren in Deadpool. You mean Ryan Reynolds, I assume. But I mean, I guess they're kind of one and the same. So it is about that painting. Okay, yeah. Oh, very cool. Oh, yeah. I will definitely check it out, because the story of that painting is really, really fascinating. Yeah, Woman in Gold. Okay, thanks, Mona Lisa. I appreciate that. Maybe we should do like a movie review on here. Let me know if you guys would be into that. Shoot a comment. Put a comment in the comments, or let me know in the chat if that's something that you'd be interested in when we do these live streams. It's like a little movie review moment, or movie or book or whatever. But January, how did January go? So let's see. Overall, I'm giving January a 6.5 out of 10. I think it went pretty well. It's often, January always feels like a little bit of a hangover after the holidays, right? Because you got to kind of like get back into the routine, whatever that looks like for you. And sometimes it's a little tough. But overall, I think for me and for my family, it went fairly well. I didn't do much flying in January. Most of that was because of the weather. It got real rainy here for several weeks, and that's just winter here in the Richmond, Virginia area. It's not, we typically see a little bit of snow, but not a lot of snow. This is me knocking on wood. But we do see rain and low ceilings, and because I'm I'm in a VFR only program. We don't fly when the weather's bad. I know how to, I have the skills to, but it's not part of the scope of our job. And so I can't do that on my company's certificate, if you understand anything about aviation. So we don't fly when the weather's bad. So I didn't fly much. I flew like 4.5 hours in the whole month of January, which kind of sucks. Especially when you consider that, like, I was at work most of my shifts in January were night shifts, because I did trade away one of my day weekends in order to go to MarsCon, which was a great experience. Actually, I had a ball at MarsCon. I've got a whole video on it where Marisa and I laugh and giggle for an hour about how much fun we had at MarsCon. So if you're interested in that, I will put the link in the description below, or you can just find it here on the channel. But Joel Lyons is the con chair for MarsCon, and he and his staff absolutely knocked it out of the park this past year. So fingers crossed that events will line up to allow them to do the same next year. And we'll just see, but yeah, check that out if you're interested in my MarsCon experience. Obviously, one of the highlights of that weekend was getting to hang out with Marisa, who, as you know, is my like ride or die, soul sister, BFF, partner in crime. Pick your euphemism. There she is. So I got to hang out with her and her, wonderful, delightful sister for a whole weekend, selling books and doing panels and stuff. And so that was definitely a highlight of January for me. Got to spend some time with my oldest kid at the very beginning of the month, because she was home for winter break for a little while. And that was also very cool. It's funny, like I was talking about, having one kid off at college doing her own thing and one kid still at home. And like, I'm not an empty nester. I still have a kid at home, but it's very odd. It's such a, I don't know, it's almost like instead of having two kids, I have two only children, if that makes sense. So, hi, Joy. Welcome. Everybody say hi, Joy. I got to see Joy Wandry at MarsCon too, which was great. I'm going to tell a secret, Joy. Yeah, well, I'll tell it here in a minute. So you guys hang out. But in addition to MarsCon, another big win for January was that, unlike the very last day of January, I wrote 8,000 words in a single day in order to finish the first draft of the scenes that I was initially assigned for the sequel to the Romanov Rescue. So I am super excited about that, because I loved the Romanov Rescue. I love the whole storyline. I really enjoy working with Tom and Justin, and the book is not anywhere near to done, but the first draft for the scenes that I was initially assigned are done. And so, we can continue to move forward with book 2 in the series, which is tentatively titled Sapphire and Iron. I will be honest with you, I don't think Tony Weisskopf, the publisher, loves that title, so don't get too attached to it, but we'll see. So I like it. I mean, I think it's a good title. Tom likes it, and Justin I think likes it. So, but she's the boss. She knows what sells. So we do what the publisher says. Charlie says her boys are 14 years apart. Oof, yeah. Yeah, right. It's like having two only kids instead of, an older and a younger, even though they're very sweet together. Their dynamic together is very nice. But my oldest daughter is very much more like parent number 3 than she is, big sister, I guess. And I don't know what that says about me as a mom, but there you go. That's reality. So that's January. So let me know. I feel like a broken record tonight, but yeah, let me know in the comments. Let me know in the chat. What are some of the wins that you experienced in January? What are some things that you're celebrating? Because, and I've talked about this before, and you'll hear me talk about it again. I don't think that we as humans celebrate our wins enough. I think that especially those of us who, are creative or entrepreneurial or whatever, that we're always thinking about the next thing. Like, okay, I got to push for the next goal. I got to push for the next milestone. And I think it can be helpful to take a little time and be like, okay, I did that thing and it was cool. For example, I'm totally going to call you out, girl. Marisa Wolf today turned in 2 books and edits on a third, I believe. So congrats to you for being such a badass. Because, you know, that is a huge achievement. Now I know that wasn't in January, that was like today, but still, that's a win and you should take it. And I'm very proud of you. Okay, so that's January. See, now I'm doing it. Okay, there we go. Now we're going on. but at least I mentioned it and you all can acknowledge it. Yeah, let's all take a moment and applaud Marisa. Good job, Marisa. So proud of you. Cool. Okay. February. What does February look like? So again, I told you guys one of my focuses for this month is to try and really dig into what's cool about February and to find the things about February that I enjoy. So I will let you know how that goes. Probably in the next, here we go. 1 book and 1 mostly done pending your co-author. That's awesome. It's not me, by the way. I'm not the co-author this time. So, but in February, so here's the outlook, right? I am super pumped to announce that Factory Boss Chris Kennedy and I have begun writing The King's Daughter. That is going to be the 2nd book in a space opera series. That the 1st book is already done. I wrote it last spring. A couple of you have beta read it for me, and I've gotten really good feedback on. So I can't wait to bring you guys this series. I think you're going to really love it. It's space opera, right? It's sweeping and it's grand, and there's science and a little bit of space magic-y kind of. Not like the Force space magic, but it's sort of pseudoscience magic, I guess, if that makes sense. So, and, you know, and there are knights and there is nobility and there are crime lords and pirates and spaceships. And I'm having so much fun, and the Factory Boss is having fun with it. And I'm really looking forward to continuing to finish this book with him. We're looking to do it very quickly, so we'll see how that goes. Yeah, I can't wait. I can't wait for you guys to read it. So that's thing number 1 that I'm very excited about in February is working on the King's Daughter. Oh, thanks, Joy. I'm so glad. Yeah, I'm so glad. So Joy is. If you didn't know, Joy Wandry, speaking of entrepreneurial, has started a business of she's doing editing, but she's also doing story Bibles. And so I have hired her to do the story Bible for this series because it's going to be a lot and I don't want to do it. So I'm not sourcing it. Thank you, Joy. Thank you for being amazing and doing that work for me. So, but I'm really stoked that you like the book. That's very kind of you to say. I think you're really going to like the 2nd one too. So, in addition to, so The King's Daughter is kind of the priority for this month. In addition to that, I'm also working on, so I'm waiting on just a couple of stories from some of our headliners. Hi, Katie. You guys say hi to Katie. Katie Cross is here. I'm waiting on just a couple of stories from a few of our headliners for Down These Mean Streets, which is the 3rd noir anthology for Baen. So as soon as I get those stories in and we go through the editing process, I will also be turning that into Baen. So it's not yet scheduled because I'm, Tony's aware of the situation of why I'm waiting on a couple of our headliners. So, so I can't tell you when it's going to be out because we don't know. But as soon as I get those stories, it'll be in Tony's inbox, and hopefully we'll bring it to you as soon as possible. And hopefully we have some really cool cover art because so far, you guys, we are 2 for 2 on badass covers for that noir series. So fingers crossed that Baen figures out a way to make the city sexy. So, oh, what's this, Marisa? Joy will be on video this Wednesday, so we can go tell her how fun she is on Inside CKP. Yeah, so if you guys didn't know, I don't know if you guys, I think you all knew this, but Chris Kennedy Publishing they have their own YouTube channel called Inside CKP that is hosted and run by Jeremy Como, who is Marisa Wolf's amazing husband, and he does such a good job. So I guess Joy's going to be on this Wednesday, so you guys should definitely go check that out. I will put a link to the Inside CKP channel in the description for this video. So, oh, Charlie, you're reading No Game for Knights currently. Yay! I hope you love it. Let me know if you've read No Game for Knights. Let me know which of the stories, other than mine, I'm going to remove my own from the from consideration, but let me know which of the stories is your favorite, because I'm always curious what really resonates with people. So, yes, so things that are happening in February. I keep trying to come back to to my plan. Working on The King's Daughter, the space opera, and hopefully turning in Down These Mean Streets as soon as I get those stories in. And then I have two sort of heretofore unannounced projects that I'm also sort of working on. The first one is a fantasy-ish series with some twists. This thing is either going to come out as a fantasy series or it's going to come out as something completely different. I don't know which way it's going to go yet. but it will it's being really fun, and that's been my kind of like project while I'm working on in between finishing my scenes for Sapphire and Iron, and before it's time for Chris has to write a couple of chapters really before it's time for me to come in with my point of view character for The King's Daughter. So until he's ready for me to start, this is what I've been working on in the meantime. The working title right now is Bound Sword. So we'll see. I'm a little over, I think 11,000, 12,000 words in. And I'm really having a ball with it, you guys. So we'll see what we're going to do with it. I don't know if I'm going to submit it to anyone. I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen with it, but it's happening. Oh, you guys are so kind. Thank you so much. Yeah, Katie says, "Yay, fantasy!" Yeah, that's your jam. I know. So that's thing number one. Thing number two is actually Joy Wadry and I are collaborating on a project. And it is Joy has done the lion's share of the work on it so far. I haven't really kept up, but we are playing with the idea of a small town paranormal romance series. And we've started work on the first book. So again, I don't know what we're going to do with it. I do know what we're going to do with it. I think our intent is to self-publish this one. So I will be, I do have a very small romance circle mailing list that I have been cultivating for a couple of years. And so I'll be looking to build an audience for it and kind of take you guys along for that, kind of on that journey. I'll probably do it under a pen name simply because that way, the audiences don't get confused, picking up a Casey Ezel book, expecting it to be, male sci-fi or fantasy or something like that, and having it be paranormal romance would be a little bit jarring, I think. Marisa says, yes, secret project paranormal romance. Yeah. So yeah, those are both real long-term, because obviously, especially when we're talking about self-publishing, we're not going to publish anything until we have like a series ready to go so that we can do a rapid release and build momentum and, all the things that you're supposed to do. But those are the things that are happening. That's kind of the outlook for February. In addition to that, I'm continuing to work. So I'm back on my normal Thursday to Wednesday schedule. So every other week, Thursday to Wednesday, I will work. What that means is that if I am working from Thursday to Sunday, I'm on day shift. And then from Monday to Wednesday, I'm on night shift. I get a lot of work done on day shift when I'm not flying, not so much on night shift. That's just the way that it goes. But I've actually been able to be pretty productive on my off days as well. So I'm hoping to continue that trend. I actually shot a video this morning with Katie. So I'm so glad you came back, Katie. And one of the things that we talked about was sort of the mindset of like, sitting down and pushing your boundaries in terms of like how much work you can do in a day, or what you're comfortable doing in a day. It was a long, like, it was a good discussion. I thought it was a good discussion, but we went into a lot of stuff. Like, we really went down that rabbit hole, and so so that's one of the things that I'm kind of looking to do, is to decide, okay, these limits that I put on myself for how much I can do in a day, are they real, or is it just me deciding, just arbitrarily choosing a number and saying, ooh, this is the most I can do? Because I kind of think the latter might be the case, right? So so I'm hoping to continue to, sorry, I'm messing with my jewelry, guys. I'm hoping to continue to to kind of refine that and up my productivity, while still remaining sane and comfortable, and not, burning out, and still being able to do things like recreate. And also, who uses the word recreate, right? Like, what's wrong with me? Why can't I just say, like, watch a movie or go play, or whatever. But yeah, that was one of the things that has been a little bit on my mind, because I don't want to burn out, right? I don't want to be the person who comes home from one job and immediately goes to work on the other job, even though the other job, namely this one, is super fun. And I love talking to you guys, and I love writing, and I love getting into that headspace of telling myself the story, because, spoiler alert, the stories I write are the ones that I want to read, right? That's the whole reason I write them, is because I want to read them. And I want to know these characters, and I want to see what they get up to, and what, how they develop, and what changes happen in their life and stuff. Who says recreate, right? Like, seriously, what's wrong with me? So anyway, so yeah, that is a long and rambling explanation of kind of my outlook for February, what I'm doing. I'm also doing something really cool. I won't go into too many details because I don't have permission to be very specific, but I will say that later this month, I am going to be traveling up to my old stomping grounds at Joint Base Andrews to officiate at a friend's retirement ceremony, which is a huge honor to be asked to do that. So I'm really looking forward to doing that, and hoping that I can still fit in the uniform. I'm pretty sure I can. It hasn't been that long. And yeah, I might have to, I'm probably going to have to dye my hair brown. I just thought about that. I don't think I can have blue hair in my uniform. Okay, so more to follow on that. Yeah, about that. Okay, so yeah, we'll see how that goes. That's funny. I can't believe I didn't think of that till now. Shoot. You guys, I got something on my lip. I'm sorry. It's like dead skin. It was driving me crazy in the camera. So, okay. But yes, let's see. Longer term. What else is coming up? In March is Fantasy, and I'm super excited to wig Marisa. Marisa says wig. Maybe, man. Anyway, at the end of March, third week in March is Fantasy, right around my birthday. So I'm excited to go to that. Yeah, Charlie, I am retired, but if I'm going to put the uniform on, I still have to conform to the uniform regulations. And the uniform regulations say that your hair has to be a natural color. So I'll probably just do is go get like a temporary semi-permanent, like black or something. And then have it for, a week or so, and then just have it wash out. And then I'll probably go get my blue redone, because I'm going to want to get it redone before Fantasy anyway. So that's probably how it's going to go. Yeah, and that's fine. Okay. This is driving me crazy. Let me get it. Is it gone? Okay. It's gone. Welcome to my real life, guys. So, yeah. But that's exciting, that I'll get to do that. And so I will be having one of those, from who's who to who's that moments, because I spent 10 years of my career at that unit. And at one point, everybody who came through there, all the new guys who came through there flew with me because I was a high time experienced instructor. And I'm going to walk in there and they're going to be like, who's that old lady? So it's good for the soul, I'm told. It's good for the ego. And then I'll go to Fantasy next month and get to see all the lovely people there, and that'll build me back up. It'll be great. So yeah, Fantasy in March, and then my next convention after that will be LibertyCon in June down in Chattanooga. And I'm very excited to. I feel like I'm saying very excited too much. I'm sorry about that. But I'm obviously very excited about both of those events. It's been the last time I went to LibertyCon, it will have been 4 years, because did I go in 19? No, I did go in 19. I went in 19. So I guess 3 years, because I went in 19 and then like the next week we moved, or, a couple weeks after that we moved to Japan. So I went in 19. I didn't go in 20. Obviously, there wasn't one. 21, same thing. And I couldn't go this past year because we were. I was hoping to go, but we were flying back from Japan like the day before it started. So I just didn't have the time to, make both things happen, along with moving back here to the United States after 3 years. So I was really sad to miss it, but thanks to the amazing Marisa Wolf, she made sure that I got a ticket, because if you're ever interested in going to LibertyCon, and I will put links for both Fantasy and LibertyCon in this in the description box below. But heads up, if you want to go to LibertyCon, they sell out tickets in like 7 minutes flat, you guys. It's a very popular convention. It's in Chattanooga, Tennessee every year. It's been going for years. I think this is like LibertyCon 30, 38 or 39, something like that. It's been, no, it can't be that much, because LibertyCon 30 was 2019, I think. Anyway, it's been going for over 30 years, and it's just it's a super popular convention, and it's like a family. It's a smaller con. It's limited to 1,000 people. It's, it's very pro heavy. It is by far the best networking convention that I've attended, simply because there are just so many authors and editors and publishers, and everyone who's there is even if they're there as a pro, they're still there as a fan. So that's kind of cool too, right? Because there's so many people that go, so it really is like a family reunion. And so if that's something that you're interested in, the tickets go on sale shortly after the convention. I will try, and if I can, I'll try to get things. Oh, they changed the way some things are counted against the attendance cap this year, and most everyone who wanted tickets was still able to get them. Oh, that's awesome, Joy. That's good to know. But yeah, so if but I'll try to let you guys know on like my social media and on my my newsletters when I hear when LibertyCon tickets go on sale, because it happens fast, and it's totally worth it. It's a really good time. So I think Marisa and I might have an epic road trip. Maybe we'll vlog it. I don't know. What do you think, Marisa? It'd be like Thelma and Louise, except without the like crime and driving off of a cliff. Yeah. So not at all like Thelma and Louise, I guess. But anyway, so that's in June. In July, I am at the very end of July. We're going to Hawaii for my husband's birthday, so I'm excited about that. And then in September is Dragon Con, so please stay away from the Grand Canyon. Sure. I mean, it's not on the way to Chattanooga, so I think we'll be okay. Yeah, but less cliff driving. So, but yeah, we after that, the next convention after that is Dragon Con in September. So I will be in attending pro again this year at Dragon Con. I'm here we go again. I'm very excited to announce that I'll be an attending pro at Dragon Con. And I'm looking forward to that family reunion as well, even though that family is like 80,000 people large. Because it's my favorite con. It was my first one, and it's a good time. And then let's see, I guess I might as well finish out the year for con plans. Other than that, I will be doing Factory Con in October because it's just down the road in North Carolina. And I took my husband and my youngest daughter last year, and they had a really good time, camping and fishing and stuff. So I think we're going to do that again. I will not be attending 20 Books this year, unfortunately. I would like to. I highly recommend it to anyone who's interested in this business, either self-publishing or honestly TradPub. There's a lot that you could learn that applies to both worlds, I think. But I won't be doing it because this year we're going to be traveling for Thanksgiving, and so I won't have the time off to be able to do that. And then I guess that's it for the year. Factory Con will be my last one then until next year, until 2024. So and I don't know what my schedule looks like yet for 24. But I can tell you that there will be cons, and I will be at some of them. So I shouldn't say that though, right? Knock on wood, because stranger shit has happened. So anyway, thank you for listening to that rambling outlook of what's going on con-wise in my life, and thank you for coming to my live stream, you guys. It means so much to me that you guys come hang out with me on Monday nights, every other Monday night. So. Yeah, Tony, it's an expensive. I mean, it's expensive for us, and we don't have to travel internationally to get there. So yeah, it's it's one of those things where, like, if you can swing it, it's worth it. If you can't swing it, that's completely understandable. Because it's an investment. It's an investment of time. But if you do ever make it, please let me know, because I would love to see you. And if you're available for hugs, give you a hug. And if not, then we could do a high five or a finger guns or whatever you're comfortable with. It would be cool to see you sometime if your circumstances allow. So, all right. Well, that's about all that I really had to talk about. So, I'm going to go check out, what was it, Maurice? Not Marisa, Mona Lisa, the Woman in Gold. I'm going to go check out the Woman in Gold. Maybe next time we do this live stream, which will be, let me just double check, because I can't keep track of these things. So today is the 6th. So my next live stream. Oh, you guys. I think our next live stream will not be until March. I think I'm going to have to cancel the 20th because I had to trade in order to go to that retirement ceremony. And so I'm actually working the evening of the 20th of March. So, or 20th of February. So instead of a live stream 2 Mondays from now, I will have, I'll just have like a pre-recorded video release so that you guys can get a little bit of your Casey fix, if that's a thing for you. But I will, and if I'm not flying, I'll set it to Premiere so that I can be there in the comments. But if I'm flying, if I'm working and I'm flying, then I'm flying, and I'll go do that, and you guys hang out and be good in the video. So I don't know what video it'll be yet. Well, I'll figure that out. But yeah, so heads up, that's this, and we won't get to chat again until March. So March 6th will be our next live stream. So, oh, Joy, you're so kind. You're so kind. Yeah, you guys, I definitely stole finger guns from Marisa. That's double guns. That's her thing. So, so anyway, I will see you back here March 6th. at 7 p.m. Eastern time, if you're in the United States, or sometime in mid-morning if you're Tony out in Australia. And in the meantime, I will have, like I said, I will have videos releasing. I think Katie's video is probably going to go up next week, next Monday, probably, Katie. But if that changes, I'll let you know. So you guys pay attention to the social media channels, and you know, hit the notifications bell for this channel, because that is also a way that you can find out when we have new videos. So, all right, you guys, thanks again for hanging out. It means the world to me that we get the opportunity to do this chat. Oh, Joy, good call. In a few minutes, Joy is going to be reading Black and White on the World Maker Books channel. So you can go check them out. I'm not sure exactly how this is going to work, because I have to actually go and edit the description, but I will put a link to the World Maker Books channel in the description. So maybe like refresh, I guess, after a couple minutes, and you can see it, or you can probably just search it out on YouTube. But yeah, if you liked this video, please, please, please give me that Chuck Yeager thumbs up. It means the world to me, and it helps the channel grow. Tell your friends, you know, tell them to come check out my videos, and join my newsletter. You guys get these weekly updates in the newsletter. I send out cool Midjourney images that I generate just for fun. I'm not getting paid or anything like that, so you know, please don't come after me with a pitchfork. But they're fun to look at. So there you go. And then you know, and then I have you know, some cool deals. So in the newsletter. So join the newsletter. Plus, you get an exclusive invite to our Discord server, where we hang out every day and have a lot of fun. Charlie's in there. Charlie is she's she's one of my favorite people, because she's always like keeping it lively in the Discord. So yeah, so you know, be part of my community, because I love you, and I would be very sad if you were not around. So okay, enough maudlin. I love you guys. Thanks for hanging out. Give me that Chuck Yeager thumbs up, and yeah, I'll see you next month. All right, I'm Casey Ezell. This is my writer life. Bye, guys.